Howdy do, and welcome back to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. It's the 10-year anniversary of the franchise. We're playing through the series, and we just got past, unfortunately, Ichiro has been murdered. And so we're going to do this trial and investigate why that happened. It probably so far is one of my favorite parts.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
It is probably one of my favorite parts so far about the class trials overall, is just because I'm not even voice acting, so to speak, but I'm like accidentally doing impressions, and this does let my voice rest, because these episodes are actually kind of long so far, and the trials, I imagine, are going to be long too, so...
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay then. So, first off, let's talk about the murder weapon.
First, you have to make clear what was used to deliver the fatal blow. Okay, so there's some parts that I have to read, okay? But like overall versus the majority. Oh wait, we're just jumping right in. Okay. Oh, well, that makes it kind of easier, doesn't it?
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Interesting. That certainly would make for a powerful weapon.
Or Chihiro.
I bet it was an iron pipe.
No. Buddy, no.
No, that's wrong.
Can we agree that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell found at the scene of the crime? It was covered in blood, and there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell. As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
You looked at her head wound?
Yeah, they did.
Yay! That's so creepy!
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to discussion of the culprit. Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
Do you now?
What? For real?
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
Is it? Genocide Jack, the fiendish serial killer. Did he really kill Chihiro? A new element has been added to non-stop debates. Would you like to hear? Oh, absolutely. For this debate, lines of white noise will appear to disrupt your reactions. Your truth bullets will disappear if they hit these lines, so think of them as obstacles in your debate. But there's a way to keep this white noise from getting in your way. Press the right mouse button to attach the silencer, which you can use to shoot down the white noise. However, if you shoot an actual remark with your silencer instead of the white noise, the time limit will decrease, so take careful aim when you have your silencer out. Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, white noise won't appear at all. Well, we're not set to gentle, so... In which case, you can forget about the silencer and just focus on the situation in front of you. Well then, good luck, have fun. Oh, great. Here we go. Ah, it's still the one bullet. I can do the one bullet. We can do one bullet. Why is it one bullet still?
The culprit is Genocide Jack.
Ah.
In short, case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible!
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
That was close.
Hey, so, speaking of Genocide Jack, I don't know who that is!
Oh, you will. Now, let me actually pay attention. I let the conversation run, but I wasn't paying attention. I was so busy shooting the white noise. Let me actually,
Proof for it.
There is, unfortunately.
I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library. I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
What? That's kind of weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth. So let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail. According to the file, there appear to be 2 defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case.
2, huh?
The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
No.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
But more important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
Ah, the classic tell 'em, Naegi. The other characteristic of every Genocide Jack case, and which the world at large doesn't know. If I'm not mistaken, it has to do with the positioning of the body, yeah. How the victim was positioned.
I got it!
Suspended.
Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way. So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it? There's only one logical answer I can think of. It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
No fucking way!
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
Yes, in fact, it's Toko.
Oh, well, I was gonna say either that or it's one of the police higher-ups. One of y'all is the higher-up police. But no, that's just okay.
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
What? Hey, okay, wait, hold on a sec. Toko has, like, bloodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no.
Another riddle? Man, why has this gotta be so complicated?
It's a riddle for sure, but I feel like I understand it. What it means for Genocide Jack to be Toko, but also to not be Toko. The answer is that she's not just one person, but multiple people, right? Hangman's Gambit. Hangman's Gambit. Right, okay. So?
Now I understand.
Yeah, sure. I don't necessarily know.
Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
Is being schizo split personality? Is schizophrenia? I can't say I know, actually, off the top of my head, so I can't answer that, unfortunately.
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too. They thought that the suspect might have...
Yeah, I thought that was what we...
dissociative identity disorder.
Granted, I think that probably would have been too long of a Hangman's Gambit, since this is just like the second trial. Putting like dissociative even by itself. Maybe that's why, but
Okay, but still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable. Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
the one thing that shows Toko could have a split personality, it has to do with her behavior. Her behavior change. Wait. The one thing that shows Toko could have a split personality, it has to do with her behavior. Her behavior changed. She arrived late. She fainted.
Shoot.
Oh, wait, that's wrong? I mean, that's literally what they did. Both. Okay, it's that it changed. It changed after she fainted. That's fine, though.
Than usual, right?
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
Yeah, that is true. No, that dead body. Hey, are you dead? Yep. Hit her head real hard when she fainted. It's almost like that word. The word's important. The word on the front and the back, top ending and a bottom. I see the truth in Webble Eyes. This is quite concerning. I mean, she sounds completely different. Yep.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can't handle blood, and one that obviously can.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
I won't let Genocide Jack have control. I'll drive out the killer, drive out the murderous fiend.
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How?
Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation. She told me a most interesting story.
Ah, did she?
She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't
No,
tell
doesn't
anyone.
sound like it.
What?
You promised! I can't believe you lied!
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to. This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale. Besides,
That's bad.
you broke your promise first.
Oh?
You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise,
I'm sorry, I couldn't keep our promise. But don't worry, never again. I won't let Genocide Jack have control ever again.
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me. That's the only
Did they, or is that
reason
one of
I
the
promised.
things that...
how many times do I have to tell you?
Oh, they never said that.
I never said that.
Okay, because that would have been even low. That would have been dirty.
But you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
I tried. I swear I tried to control it.
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
I hate you.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
Directly?
The person you don't mean.
Toko's body suddenly lunged backwards. A huge thud echoed through the courtroom, but in the next second...
Well, hello there! Is it me you were hoping to see?
Uh-oh.
What the heck? So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
What the fuck is this?
Toko, what happened to you?
And they changed.
Not Toko, that's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality. So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's fault.
Sounds like the... You know, that's the one thing. I know people have different debates about, like, the English dub and the sub and stuff like that. It sounds like the voice actor for Genocide Jill here had a blast.
So intense.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Yeah, it's like dealing with the Hulk versus dealing with Bruce Banner or something.
The world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
This Is the murderous fiend Genocide Jack? This is beyond insane.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you. I am the mastermind of all masterminds.
Boom, roll credits.
Just kidding.
Never mind, take back the credits.
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true. How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid? And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless.
Yeah, is that so?
I mean, they just let this idiotic, bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town.
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people.
I guess in the sense of like, you're not going to make everybody happy kind of a thing, right? Like there's some people, depending on what you do and stuff, they're just not going to like you or what you do. Beyond that, I don't know about how much that lines up exactly.
It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
Never mind.
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined. So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster!
What do you think about Nagi? Maybe she's totally right about that, but something's still bothering me. What she said, I might need to get more details about all of this. Uh-oh. What details are we getting? Oh, still the one bullet? One shot, one kill.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking!
When you compare your past murders to this incident...
No, that's not what I meant to do.
Matches completely. What more proof do we need?
I pressed the wrong button.
You killed her. The modus operandi matches complete.
But it doesn't. Something a little bit missing.
Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Huh? How's it any different?
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you!
Dang.
I murder with passion and conviction.
Also that. Look at like oh, the mouse isn't on the screen for me or for you, but like there's scissors. There's skizzers everywhere. I don't think there was any skizzers with Chihiro.
I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things. Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee. This is no creation of mine.
I'm following.
Let me rephrase that in a way that maybe makes more sense.
That made plenty of sense.
There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
There's one clear difference between the murders. In the photos from the other Genocide Jack cases, look at the neck and the stomach. Here you'll see a clear difference. The style of the bloody messages, the Fatum's fatal injury.
I got it! For one, the cause of death is different. In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way. According to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors. But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method?
It would.
And there's more. One more conflicting detail.
The scissors?
That's right! In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce!
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
That's right, the second difference is related to how she was suspended. In the photos of the other Genocide Jack cases, all the other victims were stabbed through their hands. Here you can see a clear difference. What was used to suspend her, how the body was posed, when she was suspended. No, it's one of these two. How the body was no, it's what was used.
Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrists.
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them.
Scissors.
Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
Yep.
And guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement. Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know what else?
What?
Big Mac said there's 2 differences.
Big Mac.
But he's wrong.
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
Big Mac.
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
That reminds me of that really like old YouTube, the McDonald's drive-through rap. Holy crap.
Huh?
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case. There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
A pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Let's see. There was a pattern surrounding the Genocide Jack victims, and Chihiro didn't fit it. If you look at the names of every victim, what you'll notice is, I think I figured it out. I know why she couldn't have killed Chihiro. Because Chihiro was her friend. Absolutely. That's the only answer. Because Chihiro was a lover, because Chihiro was a girl. Yes. Because all of them were kin. I don't remember their names off the top of my head, but I remember... Yeah.
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
They did. Yeah. Well, I only remembered one of the names, and it was Kin, because you were first, too, so I didn't really remember the rest of the names.
They were all guys?
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men! I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
The hell is wrong with you?
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it. But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
So, since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid.
These food analogies make sense to me.
I have too much passion
Food
and
analogies. I
conviction
said
to cross
food
that line.
analogies.
The absolute reality of the one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely, when you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Quiet, lowly cur!
Lowly cur.
Lowly cur?
Yeah.
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect!
That does
I mean,
make some
it does
amount
make
of
sense.
sense.
It'd be like No, never mind. No one would get that reference. It'd be like if when Jinx blew up stuff in Piltover, how she always graffitis it with like like that pink X. But if she was really trying to get away with it, she wouldn't put the pink X. Everybody would know it was them.
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors.
All about the skizzers.
Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Someone who could lift a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell, probably. Which, to be honest, could be any of them. I don't know. The 25 pounds is both heavy with one hand, but like with two hands, a lot of people can actually do that. You might be surprised how strong you are if you tried to lift a 25 with both hands, though, right? Like,
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
that would make sense.
Any scissors? I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of high-class envy of the entire world scissors.
Oh, okay.
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, the music stopped. Oh, yeah, they have some, all right.
She's fully equipped.
That's right, so I can kill anywhere, anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side? Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong. You can't, can you? Gutter dogs, all of you.
Dang. Just going in on everybody, huh?
Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot. The rope's totally out of the question anyway.
I have no idea what's going on anymore. Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
Yeah,
But
it could.
the body really
Maybe
was
not, though.
suspended,
We don't
right?
know.
And nobody but the police knew about that.
Yeah. That's why we figured it had to be the real deal and not some copycat killer or whatever.
Or one of the police, the high-end police people. Actually, hold on. There is one person who could have copied the Genocide Jack cases. High-end police person. Definitely has to be you, because you're... No, I'm just kidding. Actually, like, we would know. We read the file case. It comes down to, like, who else read the file case. Monokuma probably read the file case in their library. You read the file case.
Here's my answer. Byakuya, it's possible
Ah.
you could have found out, isn't it?
Ah, they're a high-end police person.
You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records.
Oh, and they even had stuff like that at their home, let alone here. So they not only would know it from here, they'd know it from home.
Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened, hadn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
Then the reason he pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it. The adorable glasses man was behind it all.
Uh-oh.
I'm on fire!
Next target detected.
Well, Byakuya, what's your response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls on me. Then I must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
Looking back and thinking about it now, the way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
And the locker rooms. They're suspicious. Very suspicious indeed, wouldn't you agree? Huh? Suspicious? It seems nobody searched the locker rooms. Let's start with the girls' locker room.
You wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy...
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say?
Yeah, that's what I want to say.
The victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have known that beforehand.
Nothing strange about that, I'd say.
Yeah, there is. Everybody was searching the whole school. No one knew what had happened yet.
On the contrary, there's something very strange.
Right? Did that happen in the order I'm remembering it in?
Okay then, what's so strange about it?
I think so.
Go ahead, share with the rest of the class.
There's a very clear contradiction to what Byakuya just said. I need to make it clear to everyone. A new element has been added to non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Absolutely. Next, we're going to add something called a truth flashback. If you aim at a weak spot and hold down the left mouse button, then you'll memorize that weak spot. This memorized weak spot can only be shot once as a single truth bullet. If you shoot or change the truth bullet, it'll disappear from your truth cylinder. However, you can use this flashback feature as many times as you want. If you don't seem to have the answer to a lie or contradiction in your loaded truth bullets, it might be wise to memorize a different weak spot and use it to make your case. When's the best time for flashbacks? Well, you'll just have to use your keen wits, won't you? In this case, though, I will say that if you don't use a flashback, you won't be refuting anything. Well then, good luck and have fun. Alright, so basically they're telling us that we need to do this thing for this one at least. But in general, they're not going to tell us. It's just, oh. Yeah, I don't think the Monokuma file is going to be it, Chief.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body.
Yeah, before we found the body, that was it.
You're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room.
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So, of course, I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first.
Okay.
There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
You wish you'd taken me with you.
Okay, so either we gotta take the body before the body was discovered and shoot it at Chihiro, or take Chihiro and shoot it at before the body was discovered.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body.
But he was acting, if you're presented with the opportunity to check out, that's a natural.
The victim was Chihiro.
Okay, I knew it was those two, I just had it reversed, because I'm stupid.
I'll tell you what's so strange about that.
Strange, isn't it?
Because up until we actually discovered the body, we couldn't have known who the victim was. So your claim that you went to the girls' locker room first because Chihiro was the victim doesn't hold up.
I see. That's a good answer, I must admit. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. But your reasoning is still too weak.
I mean, that's it. That's all the reasoning has to be, really.
What's wrong? Is that it? Surely you've got more than that. Go ahead. Show us.
What's with Byakuya's attitude? It's like he doesn't even care. I've got him cornered, but he's acting like it has nothing to do with him.
What's the matter? You're not finished already, are you? There must be more to it.
There is. I think.
There is more to it. Think about it. We just talked about the differences between this case and past Genocide Jack incidents. The proof you're looking for is hidden in there.
Oh? Proof that I'm the culprit, you mean?
The differences between this case and the other Genocide Jack murders. The evidence that proves Byakuya is responsible is hidden in there. What could it be? Ooh, do we have to do more? No, maybe it's just gonna be regular. Let's see. Library desk lamp. Oh! Because they weren't the skizzers.
The difference between the cases? You want me to explain it again?
Yeah.
When I want to kill, I use my very own special scissors. And I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
But Chihiro was suspended with... It was some kind of rope. Was it not?
That's right! It absolutely was!
Then there must be something very fishy indeed about that rope.
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from, huh?
I've never seen that rope before in my life.
Yeah, you have.
Obviously, somebody else must have had it hidden away somewhere.
The proof that Byakuya did it is hidden within the rope. I guess it's possible at first. The item she had been found with was used like a rope, but what was it? But was it actually a rope? No, it wasn't. Byakuya didn't use a rope. He used a very specific object. Yep, I know exactly what it is.
I've never seen that rope before in my life.
Yes, you have. Oh, yes, you have.
Actually, I'm pretty sure you have seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you see, that rope, or should I say, that extension cord?
What? An extension cord?
Yeah.
Byakuya, you've used the extension cord in the library more than once, haven't you? And the same extension cord that was in the library all this time went missing after the murder. And there's no way someone who uses that extension cord as much as you do wouldn't discover that fact.
And Byakuya must be the one who took the extension cord. I can't imagine any other possibility.
That's really what you think? Then your conclusion is something like this? I killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, then hung her up and wrote that bloody message. I intentionally made it look like Genocide Jack was behind it. Is that about right?
He's doing it again. He's totally calm, totally unconcerned. It's as if he's not even involved. Wait, not even involved?
What's wrong? I asked you if you think that's what happened.
Hell yes, that's what happened. So that's it, right? Byakuya's the killer.
I don't disagree with not disagreeing.
He kept calling this a game, right? So he'd be totally willing to do something like this to win.
Sorry, but could we hold on just a second? I think we need to talk about this a little more.
Sure. Do we really need to? We've already decided who did it.
I know, but still, there's something that's still bothering me.
Is that right? And what, pray tell, is still bothering you? I killed her in the girls' locker room, then disguised my crime. Specifically, I dressed it up to make it look like it was the work of a homicidal psychopath. What about all that bothers you?
I mean, what about all that doesn't bother anyone? Wait. Was it just now? Something's not right. Jiro's body was definitely found in the girls' locker room, but does that mean... Can I really just accept what Byakuya said as the truth? No, I don't think so. There's definitely something off about what he said. The extension cord, the scene of the crime, Genocide Jack's presence. The extension cord, the scene of the crime. Scene of the crime.
I got it! You say you killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, right? But are you sure about that? Isn't it possible that the murder took place somewhere else?
Oh.
How disappointing. What kind of question is that? Even in the world of disappointments, this is a true letdown. She was found dead in the girls' locker room. There is absolutely no question about that. How could the scene of the crime have been anywhere else?
Well, I think it's entirely possible that she was killed somewhere else, then carried there later, along with the rest of the murder scene.
The rest of the murder scene?
Oh.
That was awfully specific. Please tell me you have a reason for saying all of that.
I believe I do.
Hey, Byakuya, did you just take off your guard? Did I just take you off guard? When the story suddenly moved to the crime scene, Byakuya, who has been so confident up until now, maybe Byakuya had never even realized that the actual scene of the crime could have been somewhere else.
Hey, don't just move on without permission! What do you mean she was killed somewhere else?
Come on, Makoto. If there's any chance the murder took place somewhere else, let's see the proof.
The evidence that shows the murder took place somewhere else. There was something that was switched between the boys' and girls' locker rooms. Oh, that would be the tornado. Yeah, these.
I got it! The proof that she was killed somewhere else is the poster that's hanging in each locker room.
Why is the tornado poster in the boys' locker room and the swimsuit? I forget the Pacific name. Pacific? Yeah, the Pacific Northwest name.
Your proof is some posters?
The poster in the girls' locker room was a picture of a big-boobed supermodel. But don't you think that's kind of strange? Why would the girls' locker room have a poster like that?
Heck if I know.
I bet those massive jugs of hers were totally fake!
Meanwhile, the boys' locker room had a poster of the super popular boy band Tornado. Again, that doesn't really seem to belong in a boys' locker room.
So you're saying that maybe the posters were switched?
And there's one other thing I noticed about the locker rooms. You know what I'm talking about, right, Sakura?
You're referring to my protein coffee, aren't you?
Protein coffee?
No, I'd never really heard of it either.
While I was in the girls' locker room earlier, I spilled some protein coffee on the carpet. But I noticed that after the murder, the stain had been totally scrubbed away.
No. It said the stain was scrubbed away. It was moved. Ah, the carpet. I think we saw it while we were looking for the posters too, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, that ought to be it, right? Yeah.
I got it.
Nice to know it was
The
a coffee
stain on
protein
girls'
stain,
locker
by the
room
way.
Carpet wasn't scrubbed away. In fact, I found it on the boys' locker room carpet.
That's definitely the stain from my protein coffee.
Then, does that mean that the carpets were switched too? But why would anyone do that?
To move the murder scene from one locker room to the other. It's certainly plausible, don't you think? What? In other words, in order to completely swap the scene of the crime, the blood-stained poster and carpet were moved along with the dead body. By doing this, the killer was able to change the entire room where the murder took place.
I can certainly follow your reasoning, but why would the culprit bother doing that?
That's a good question.
Huh?
Why would they go through all that trouble of switching the scene of the crime?
It's a valid question.
Actually, an even bigger question. If the murder did take place in the boys' locker room, then how did Chihiro get in the boys' locker room in the first place?
Ah.
To get into the locker rooms, you have to swipe your e-handbook across the card reader device. But Chihiro's handbook should have only allowed her access to the girls' locker room. She had no way to get into the boys' locker room to begin with.
No, she did have a way, and I can tell you what it was.
You can?
I highly doubt that.
Shut up! I'm telling you, I know how she could have done it.
Is he right? Chihiro really could have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow? Alright, Yasuhiro. Broken. Oh. You just give us the answer, huh?
Is it really possible? Could Chihiro really have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow?
Ah! I got it! She must have hacked her e-handbook. She was the ultimate programmer, after all. I'm sure that would have been no problem for her.
No, I don't think that's it. She used the thing that was in the main hall.
Huh? What thing?
I'm talking about Leon's handbook, of course.
Oh, well.
That, she could get into the boys' locker room no problem.
It's not actually bad deduction. Theoretically, if Chihiro was able to use Leon's handbook, she could get into the boys' locker room. But when we found Leon's handbook in the main hall, there was no doubt that it was... In which case, can we really say that she used it?
Talking about Leon's handbook, of course.
Ah, okay.
No, that's wrong.
Because, like, technically, it was broken, so it's not really a contradiction, but I guess...
I don't think Chihiro used
that is the
Leon's
contradiction,
handbook.
is that it's broken, so it couldn't have been used. Okay.
Why not?
Because Leon's handbook was broken.
Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Oh. Well, then, yeah, I guess that'd be pretty impossible, huh?
I am struck silent by how quickly you gave up.
Plus, isn't there a regulation against using someone else's handbook?
Actually, the rule states that loaning your handbook is prohibited. It says nothing about borrowing one. In other words, you could borrow a dead person's handbook all you want, and you'd be safe.
Yup. Hit the nail square on the noggin.
Of course, if it were broken, that wouldn't make any sense anyway.
So then, she must have hacked hers, like I said. She used her ultimate programmer skills and...
You can't fix an e-handbook. The instant you open one up, a security buzzer starts blaring.
So, if she didn't use Leon's handbook, and she didn't modify her own handbook...
Maybe Mr. Naegi's initial assumption is just... wrong?
It seems like there's no way she could have got into the boys' locker room. So I guess so.
Okay then, I vote for Byakuya.
Is that it then? Chihiro was killed in the girls' locker room, and Byakuya's the one who did it. Really? But still, I don't know what else I can do.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
I agree with you, though. I think you're on the right track.
What the? You finally decide to open your mouth and that's what you've got to say? There's no way she could get in the boys' locker room, right? So...
Why are you so sure she couldn't get in? There's still one other way she could have gained access.
What?
What are you talking about? What other way is there?
Well, to explain that, Why don't we take a little break from the trial? I'd like you all to come see something.
Wait. Just what do you think you're doing?
Don't worry. This'll make the whole trial more exciting. I'm sure that thought must please you.
Huh? It'll make things more exciting? Well, all right then. I declare an official class trial recess.
Oh, I miss recess. That was a nice show.
For real?
I never understood how the Ashleys just put together a bunch of tires and they had a whole entire fortress under it, but you know.
Now then, what is it you want to show us? It better not be boring or I'll be very unhappy.
Oh, I have no doubt it'll meet your lofty expectations. So...
Oh, whoops. So before I even knew what was happening, the class trial had been put on hold. We headed off with Kyoko in the lead. And where she took us was...
The girls' locker room?
We've already searched this place top to bottom. What are you trying to pull, Missy?
I'd like you to examine the victim's body one more time.
You want to check it again?
Be sure to examine the entire body very carefully. Take your time.
Examine her carefully? Like using our hands? No way!
It's probably best if I don't run my hands all over a girl's dead body.
It's not that I'm creeped out or anything, it's just... based on religious grounds, you know?
Very well. I'll do it.
But you're a girl. You shouldn't have to touch a dead body. Just let one of the boys do it.
No, it's okay. I think Chihiro would rather have a girl examine her. So just leave this to me.
Sakura. What is this? Some kind of secret girl-on-girl action? Is that what you two are about? That's not it at all. Stop screwing around.
Okay, here I go. I'm sorry, Chihiro. Please excuse the intrusion.
Putting hands together in a brief Putting her hands together in a brief prayer, Sakura then began to quietly examine her body.
Be sure to check her entire body, and I believe we will solve this particular mystery.
I like how Kyoko apparently always has the answers.
I know you say that, but...
Like Kyoko could just carry this whole entire, both these cases so far. It's just...
What? This is... What is this...
What is it?
Not possible. It's not possible.
Sakura's eyes were staring wildly at Chihiro's lifeless form. Her massive frame trembled.
This girl is...
Is what?
Dead?
A boy!
Oh.
Ah, I see. So she was actually a he. Interesting. Thank you for confirming this fact.
I like the delayed reaction.
Right?
I wouldn't joke about this.
I also like the glow. I know it's kind of a side note right now.
Then it's really true?
Chihiro was a guy? Oh, what? You guys didn't know? Heck, I knew that right off the bat. Chihiro Fujisaki was totally a guy.
He was a cross-dresser? Oh, I'm really on fire! I wish I had killed him!
So that's what Kyoko wanted to show everyone, huh? Interesting. Yes, that certainly does make things much more exciting. Now let's ride this wave of excitement back to the courtroom and get back to the trial.
Like Kyoko could have just been the main character and ran this whole...
Then, let's resume the class trial.
There should totally be like a Kyoko version of the Danganronpa game, and it's like the speedrun version. Because obviously if you try to speedrun the games otherwise, it'll still take hours. I mean, some speedrunners speedrun games for hours, so I mean, you know, there's that.
We've all just learned of the shocking revelation that Chihiro was actually a boy. Let's pick up from there.
Yes, well, I don't know his reason for hiding it, but the fact is, Chihiro was not a girl, but a boy.
To think that Chihiro was actually a guy. The thought had never even crossed my mind.
And because the victim was male, he would have had no problem gaining access to the boys' locker room.
That makes sense, then.
Assuming his handbook did, in fact, list his gender as male. Then
Yeah,
yes,
I was
that
gonna
would
go
be
with,
true.
but what did the handbook say? What did the handbook say?
Of course his handbook said he was a boy. He dressed like a girl, but he was a boy through and through.
So then, there should be no issue with Makoto's initial assertion. The victim was killed in the boys' locker room, and was then later moved to the girls' locker room.
Still leaves the question, why were they moved then, though?
And the killer could have easily used Sayaka or Junko's handbook to get into the girls' locker room.
Okay, those handbooks weren't broken.
So Chihiro really was killed in the boys' locker room?
I still don't understand the motive for moving the body, but yes, that does seem plausible.
Well, I must admit, I did find it rather odd.
You did? What do you know?
I knew he felt a little off. There was a certain incongruity to his female body.
What does that even mean? Bodies kind of come in all shapes and sizes. Just look at this. Let's look at this cast of characters right here.
So now everything has been connected. All the mysteries have finally become clear.
I mean, heck, if you want to talk about me, my arms and legs are like in, I'd say decent shape, toned shape, but like my lower gut, you wouldn't be able to tell is in any shape.
Okay, well,
Shapes are weird that way.
connected or clear or whatever. We still think you're the killer,
Not
remember?
weird, but just different that way.
Very interesting. This has become very interesting indeed.
He's off in his own little world.
Oh, he absolutely is.
What about you, Makoto? After everything we've learned, do you still think Byakuya's the killer?
Well, without a doubt, Byakuya is the one that made Chihiro's death look like Genocide Jack did it.
Yeah, I don't think,
But I think he might not actually be the killer after all.
Yeah, it definitely seems like there was some foolery afoot. That's definitely for sure.
What? But aren't you the one who accused him in the first place?
I mean, yeah, if it wasn't Genocide Jill, there had to be somebody else. Process of elimination. Start brute forcing guessing.
He just seems to be too easygoing about all this. Like he's enjoying us solving the mystery.
Yeah.
The way he's acting, it makes it seem like it doesn't have anything to do with him.
Yeah.
And you think that might be because it doesn't have anything to do with it?
That is actually telling the truth and has, yeah.
Plus, the evidence he left behind was a little too, how can I put it, overt. He consciously chose to use the extension cord, knowing it could connect him to the murder. At least, that's how I see it. And Byakuya, when you found out the murder took place in the boys' locker room, it seemed to rattle you.
That's called a plot twist. It probably rattled everybody.
And then again, when you found out Chihiro was actually a guy. If you really were the killer, that stuff wouldn't have had any effect on you.
So that's your thinking, huh? Well, it bothers me that you don't have more concrete reasons, but...
Do I look like I have a mixer?
It's fine. I guess I'll mark it as correct for the time being.
Okay, thanks. I guess for the time being?
Mark it as correct?
He's right. I am not the culprit. I just happened to come across the corpse in the girls' locker room and decided to alter it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some foolery. You definitely just... yeah.
Are you fucking with us right now?
I don't think so.
No, I am not effing with you right now.
See?
I'm telling you the truth.
Even Togami knows about YouTube and how they feel they're iffy about cursing and stuff. So, effing.
Well,
I'm gonna use that from now on. I'm using that for the rest of this playthrough.
Go ahead. Find it very hard to believe. You're free to be executed along with the rest of us.
If you're really telling the truth, then why? Why do you do that to his body?
My reasons hardly matter right now. Uncovering the culprit is much more important, wouldn't you say? Now then, if it wasn't me, who was it?
Well, I don't think I can say for sure without talking about it a little more.
We're seriously gonna keep going? We're all good, aren't we? I thought it was clear Byakuya did it.
We just said that it wasn't him, though. Are you paying attention at all?
No, I'm with Makoto. If there's any doubt whatsoever, we need to explore every possibility. Because if we're wrong, we all die here.
That's true. Very well then. I'm with you too.
Thank you, both of you. This is why I hung out with both of them. Now they're in agreement. It's like a trifecta. Now we just slowly start pulling other people in. Here we go.
Damn straight. Count me in.
Oh wow, you just flipped in an instant.
Do you not have a mind of your own?
Thank you, eyebrows.
Of course I do. What am I, an ant or something?
Anyway, let's discuss this all as a group one more time. We still have time to make our decision.
That's very true.
Our lives are all on the line.
Excellent. Then shall we resume our game of hide and seek?
Ah, we shall. If Byakuya didn't do it, then who's the real killer? Who murdered Chihiro? There's one thing we can be sure that we know about the killer. The killer was able to gain access to the real murder scene, which means the killer has to be a guy. So it was committed in the guy's locker room. Since the crime scene was in the boys' locker room, you would need a boys' handbook to get in. Not necessarily, that was the whole point. You could have just borrowed, I guess Leon's was broken. Yeah, well, I guess that's true, yeah, okay, never mind. Since Leon's handbook is apparently broken, the killer would have to use their own, because they couldn't borrow one of the dead ones. Okay, in other words, it had to have been a guy. But it's still not enough. I need to find some more clues. Make your argument. Celeste account? I remember what it is now.
Isn't there a single clue that might lead us to who did it?
Well, clues are one thing, but did nobody get a look at the killer?
I'm sure if someone saw the killer, they would have said something by now.
Perhaps someone saw the victim at some point. Even that might be enough for now.
Yeah. All we need right now is any kind of new info.
Yep.
It's over. It's all over.
And why?
You want to know who saw the victim? The killer. And only the
There
killer.
we go. That's the answer. I'm gonna let it go,
It's
though.
not like they're just gonna turn themselves in. Game over, man. Game over.
Yeah! No! Not game over!
No, as a matter of fact, there is a witness regarding an eyewitness account regarding Chihiro. She has more information than that.
Killer.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
I believe someone else did see the victim before he was murdered. What do you think, Celeste?
Now that you mention it, yes, I did see him.
Huh? Really?
Oh, but I suppose only Makoto knows about this.
Makoto?
The rest of you had no idea, did you? That is why you're all making such ugly noises.
Whatever! Just hurry up and tell us!
It was last night, right before nighttime. I saw Chihiro in the dormitory warehouse. I saw him stuffing a track jacket into a duffel bag. And then, I assume, he headed off to exercise.
Track jacket and a duffel bag? But we didn't find anything like that at the murder scene.
It seems likely that the culprit destroyed them to get rid of any evidence.
And that is when he said something that struck me as rather odd.
Well, I better get going. I'm kind of in a hurry.
Chihiro told me he was in a hurry. But why would he be in a hurry? Only if someone were waiting for him, I should think.
So, Mr. Fujisaki was on his way to meet with someone, and then they were going to work out together?
But Hina and I had invited him to exercise with us plenty of times, and he always declined.
Probably because he was afraid you'd find out the secret he was hiding, right?
Which means that conversely, he must have trusted whoever he was meeting with very much, enough so that he was willing to risk his secret being revealed.
What a marvelous friendship! The point is, whoever he met up with is the culprit, right? So we just gotta figure out who it was.
But knowing what we know, I can't even guess.
No, You already have what you need to make the connection.
Is that so?
Huh?
You know who the killer is.
We do? You know who the killer is. You know everything.
Seriously? Who is it? Who's the killer?
Think back to the track jacket and duffel bag the killer disposed of. Focus on the details of these items, and it should become obvious who was waiting for him.
Are you sure about that? You really think we can figure out who did it based on 2 pieces of evidence that we don't have?
Why? You want to track down some fingerprints or something?
Even if we had the equipment for that, we wouldn't know how to use it.
As was noted, the evidence is already gone. There's nothing to get fingerprints from.
Maybe, but we can make certain inferences if we just take the time to talk it out.
Easy for you to say. But fine.
Yo, give me a Kyoko spin-off game.
Did you notice anything special about the bag or jacket?
The bag was just a normal duffel bag from the warehouse. All the bags in there are the same, so I can't imagine what would make that one special.
Well, if I remember right, there was a decent variety of tracksuits to choose from. Do you think there might be some connection between the culprit and Chihiro's jacket?
Perhaps. Let's explore that and talk a bit more about the jacket he took.
Does Chihiro's track jacket really hold some clue about the killer? Somehow, it's really hard to believe. That's not correct. Celeste's account didn't give us where to use that one.
First of all, we know where Chihiro was headed. He was on his way to go exercise. So next we have to ask, why did he choose the specific tracksuit that he did?
What do you mean, the specific tracksuit?
Maybe they just picked one at random?
It matched the one the culprit was wearing.
So, what you're saying is, the killer was wearing the same blue tracksuit as him? My tracksuit is black.
I don't even have a tracksuit. Cause exercising sucks.
Well,
I have a white tracksuit personally. I got it from the warehouse, if you must know.
Did any of that really help us get any closer to figuring out who the culprit is?
it did.
No way. Not a chance.
It did.
You heard him, right? What he just said without even realizing it?
She's right. What he said right now is really odd. How did he know something like that? So in Celeste apostrophe S's account, they just said that there is a tracksuit in a duffel bag. They never said the color of the tracksuit. So like Yasuhiro, Hifumi, and Mondo all said colors, but Mondo said what color Chihiro's was, which is not something that Celeste ever said.
So, what you're saying is, the killer was wearing the same blue tracksuit.
Oh, okay, I was overthinking it.
Hold on a second.
It's basically
Mondo.
what I said at the very
What
beginning.
did you just say?
Where I was like, there was never in her account what the color was, so it was the account because it omitted that. I thought it wouldn't be the account because it didn't mention that in there. So I'm dumb. That was on me, but it makes sense. Okay.
Huh? What'd I say?
When Celeste testified a few minutes ago, she said...
Stuff in the track bag in the duffel bag, right? And then they headed off to exercise.
She never said anything about the jacket's color. So
Yeah.
why did you say Chihiro's blue tracksuit?
What are you just...
Hey, Celeste, what color was Chihiro's tracksuit?
It was
As
blue.
a matter of fact,
Daboo-dee, daboo-die.
blue?
And before we began the trial, did you tell anyone that?
The only one I told about any of this was you.
Then, Mondo, how did you know what color Chihiro's tracksuit was?
Because I'm sure he saw the clothes at some point in the investigation.
No, that can't be it. The bag and clothes were surely disposed of by the time we began our investigation.
Then the only reason he could have known what color the tracksuit was is if he saw Cherry with it before he died. That's the only possibility.
Cherry? Are you talking
Cherry,
about
Big
Chihiro?
Mac. Everybody's gonna get a food nickname. Go ahead. What's your food nickname?
So, how about it? Did you see the tracksuit or didn't you?
Just by chance. I just happened to see it last night. He walked past me, and he was carrying the tracksuit in his hands.
No, that can't be it either. According to Celeste's testimony,
She stuffed the jacket into her bag in a hurry. It was almost like she was trying to hide it. And just like that, she was gone.
when Celeste noticed it, Chihiro made a point of making sure the jacket was completely in the bag. If you just ran into him briefly, you couldn't possibly have seen what color the tracksuit was.
It would appear you've dug your own grave.
Perhaps. But you handed him the shovel, didn't you? That's why you said what you did. Focus on the tracksuit and it'll be obvious who he met with? What a bunch of nonsense.
Ah, now I understand. It was all one big bluff, wasn't it? Your true intention was to draw a slip of the tongue from the culprit. That's why you said you knew who did it, to put them on edge.
That's right. However, Mondo was my target all along. I had my suspicions about him from the very beginning.
But why? What made you so suspicious?
Yeah, would you mind sharing with the class?
That's a good question.
We don't... Okay. Because I hate him. You might. The way he was acting, the way he talked. The way he was acting. He was just on guard duty, so it could have been acting, and I don't think you hate him, so it's the way he talked? I mean, yeah, he just said he knew the color of the tracksuit.
There was a certain turning point that tipped me off. Maybe you didn't notice it, Mondo, but you tend to refer to men and women differently. You only call guys dude. For girls, it's chick. And after he was killed, you happened to refer to him as dude. Once I picked up on that, it occurred to me that Mondo knew something we didn't.
Oh no.
You noticed such a tiny detail?
That is true. That is true. I'm being hindsight hero-ish right now, but like that is true. If you go like right after when they were on guard duty.
Are you a witch? She's a witch! You're positively frightful!
No, I'm not the frightful one. Not nearly as frightful as someone capable of murdering a friend.
Mondo, was it really you? Did you really kill Chihiro?
I didn't kill anyone! You've been all over me, judging everything I say, putting words in my mouth. What gives you the right to treat me like a goddamn criminal?
He would never do something like that.
Oh no, eyebrows.
This is a false accusation.
It's true. My reasoning on that is pretty shaky.
That was fast.
No, you can't. You're the carry. You can't give up.
This does present us with a problem. It seems we are all out of leads.
Are we?
My time has nearly come.
No, Azza, what do you got for us?
That's what my little ghost friend is telling me.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Kifune, weren't you telling me you found some evidence?
Really? What kind of evidence?
Actually, you know, now that I'm thinking about it here calmly, it might not be all that relevant.
You might as well spit it out. We're running out of time.
Jeez, does your confidence just get up and walk away? It's fine, man. Just tell us.
If you really insist, then... here it is.
What do you have there?
It happens to be an e-handbook. I found it laying on the ground, so I scooped it up.
You found it on the ground, right? Then it must belong to Mondo. It's mine. It's Chihiro's. It's Mondo's. Belongs to Mondo, doesn't it? But I have mine. Whose is it? I better calm down and think about this. Oh, would it be Chihiro's? Because it's not mine.
I got it!
It'd be Chihiro's.
We know Chihiro's handbook was missing
We
from
do?
the scene of the crime, right?
We do? I guess I missed that part of the investigation. I didn't know that it was missing.
For a fact.
For a fact indeed. I was totally sure I'd found it.
Then it must hold some clue about the culprit, right?
Well, that's what I was hoping. But it's busted.
won't even turn on.
I imagine the culprit broke it to get rid of any evidence after the murder.
That's odd. I didn't think the handbooks were quite so fragile.
You're right. They're not. They're totally waterproof and shock resistant. It would take an awful lot to break one.
And yet, this one does appear to be broken, as is Leon's, sitting useless in the main hall. For all your confidence, that is a remarkably high failure rate.
2 out of 15 is pretty bad, yeah.
Do you think there might be some kind of mystery in there somewhere? How precisely did the handbooks get broken?
How did the handbook break? There's only one possible explanation: by hitting its weak point.
I got it! You already told us before that the handbook has one weak point, didn't you?
Yeah! You remember that?
Yeah, even I remember that.
Sure, maybe I let that slip, but I never told anyone what the weak point actually was.
But if the handbook is supposed to never break, and 2 of them broke in quick succession, then
we can only assume that someone's figured out its weakness. You know what the weakness is, right, Monokuma? So, what is it?
You're asking me?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a necessary piece of information if you want this to be a fair trial.
Yeah.
But if I tell you, and someone else decides to copy it, that would be very not good.
Just tell us already. Why would we want to break our own handbooks?
Yeah, good point.
Oh well, I have a weakness for pushy demands. But you're sure you won't follow their example?
Bro, just spill it right now.
Then allow me to make a special announcement. The weak point of my cutting-edge e-handbook is... when it's exposed to high temperatures for too long, it will suffer a meltdown and totally break! I flippin' knew it!
So if it was in the summer here, because apparently it's gonna be a hot summer.
You knew it?
Yeah, because I found the handbook laying on the floor of the sauna.
The temperature in the sauna can reach over 200 degrees.
Fahrenheit.
Strange how you don't get burnt, huh? It's because as your sweat evaporates, it creates a cooling layer of air around your skin.
Oh, okay.
If the hot air of the sauna were somehow pushed directly onto your skin, you definitely get fried. That layer of air would get blown away. That's why you may feel a burning when you move around. So when you're in a sauna, make sure to keep nice and still.
Interesting. I learned one new fact today.
That is a mere trifling speck of knowledge.
Is it?
Anyway, if you found the victim's handbook in the sauna, then the killer must have been purposely trying to raise its temperature in order to break it.
meaning the culprit somehow knew its weakness.
But how'd they find out? Monokuma said he didn't tell anyone, right?
They would have had to accidentally find out.
Indeed. Quite the mystery.
Which means Mondo's suspicious, and so is...
What if they found out by accident?
Thank you.
What do you mean by accident?
What if the killer took their own handbook into the sauna, not knowing its weakness, and it broke? They'd realize it was broken, of course, and it wouldn't be hard to figure out why. And once they had Chihiro's handbook, they knew they had an easy way to dispose of it.
I won't say it's not possible, but who would have done something like that?
There's only 2 people that would have done something like that.
I don't know of anyone who took their handbook into the sauna.
That's because you don't know everything, genius. Always talking down on everybody. Such a shame.
I might know someone who did.
Yeah, we do.
Whoa, seriously?
We know 2 people who might have. One in particular, because I think the other one was too busy being swole and jacked.
I think the one who may have taken their handbook into the sauna was...
Yeah, it wasn't Taka, because they were too busy being, like, swole to the max. But the other one left their clothes on.
Here's my answer.
Alright, Mondo.
Mondo, your handbook got broken in the sauna, didn't it?
What? Why? Why do you keep accusing him?
Mondo and Taka had an endurance contest in the sauna not too long ago, remember? And for the contest,
There's
Mondo just so happened to
Swoltaka.
keep his school uniform on. But little did he realize, he'd also left his handbook in one of his uniform pockets. And when it was all over, Mondo discovered that taking your handbook into the sauna could easily destroy it.
No, wait, hold on. You've got it all wrong. He would never kill. I don't accept this. Show me the proof. The actual solid proof.
I mean, I don't want to believe it either, but I also found something that does prove without a shadow of a doubt. Ah, there's Hope and Despair OST. Broken Handbook, Chihiro's Handbook, Card Reader.
Let's test Makoto's assertion.
Okay, let's just let them speak.
If what he says is correct, then Mondo, you broke your own handbook.
In other words, if Mondo's handbook is actually broken, then that proves that what Makoto said is right.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine.
See? Look! Makoto was wrong after all! Mondo wouldn't hurt a fly!
I'm sure Mondo's handbook broke during the Sauna Showdown. If I can just prove that, then I'll show that the handbook Mondo has must actually be.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just...
Yeah, okay. Sometimes I overthink this. Alright.
Mondo, the handbook you have right now, is it really yours?
Ooh.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Do you have your handbook? That's just what it means.
The broken handbook that was in the main hall, isn't that one actually yours?
What the heck are you talking about?
What I mean is, I think Mondo swapped his handbook out for one that actually works. I think he took Leon's handbook and replaced it with his own. After all, Monokuma said himself that Leon's handbook never should have broken.
Oh, okay.
That's right! The punishment it suffered wasn't nearly enough to destroy it.
So then, the broken handbook in the main hall is actually Mondo's, which would mean that the handbook Mondo has right now is actually Leon's, yes?
And freaking Leon still staying relevant.
But doesn't that violate the school regulation that says loaning out your handbook is prohibited?
No.
Well, here's how I look at it. There is a rule about loaning your handbook to another student, but if they're dead, they're not a student. It's kind of a gray area, I admit. But no worries. If anything, it just makes things more interesting. As such, I decree that exchanging handbooks with a corpse is not a violation of the rules.
Ah,
Well, Mondo,
convenient.
If I'm wrong about this, you're welcome to say so. I'm happy to admit I made a mistake, but...
Son of a bitch.
What's wrong, bro? Come on! Tell him he's wrong! You are wrong! You have to be wrong! Everything you just said is wrong! You made it all up!
Okay,
Oh no,
then why
Taka.
don't we look back on this case one more time, from the beginning? That way, everything will become clear, and we'll all see if I was right or wrong.
Is it closing argument time? Alright. I gotta say, one of the things on a side note about like these, I like how vibrant the colors are, right? Like the red really pops on Celeste here. Like I don't feel like it does in the regular sprites. I just feel like the regular sprites aren't as, I guess, like vibrant or saturated as the as the manga here, the comic book is. All right, what do we got here? Oh, they're gonna try and trick us with some stuff from the other ones, huh? That's her finger. Alright, so they get here. They get inside with that. They walk on in. There's the dreaded gray man just waiting for them. I guess they were just pumping iron. And oh no. They don't look happy that they did it. Then why do it? We should start with filling in everything we know, actually. That would probably be a better idea. Oh, heck. Alright, that's where you wrote the thing. Okay, Byakuya comes in at this point. What about back here, though? What would Byakuya have done back here? Oh, they would have been holding this back here, right? They're holding it, like, right there. Okay. There's the last one? Okay, well, the last one involves... Okay, so there's... You're not... Okay, where's... The sauna. The sauna. There's a sauna. You throw it in. You don't look, I guess, but, that's what this must be. It breaks in there. Okay. Okay, use this to get inside. So this is the same one as this, so we don't use you and we don't use you. This is you putting the poster up, right? I feel this one's right then. You dropped the dumbbell, but you wouldn't have really had a reason to move the dumbbell, right? I guess this could be like you putting up, because like you moved the crime scene. Okay. Unless I'm wrong. Oh, maybe I am wrong, because maybe that's this. Because you drop the dumbbell, and you're like, oh no, they're dead. And then over here, you're like, roll. Okay, so this is you rolling up the carpet. This would have to be you taking stuff away. So hang on. To disguise the truth, the killer switched around the carpet as well as something else. Okay, yeah. So I feel like I was right about this. Which locker room did the killer move? Wait, what? Wait, okay, so I'm wrong about this. The killer took something from the other locker room and switched it with the first scene of the crime. Ah. Alright, I feel like this is a good enough start.
You!
Let's see.
First, let's take a look back to before the incident. Last night, Celeste saw Chihiro in the warehouse, correct?
Correct.
At the time, she was apparently stuffing something into a duffel bag. That something was a blue tracksuit. You can confirm this, right, Celeste? With bag in hand,
I thought that
Chihiro
sound
headed
meant I
out,
failed something.
even though it was officially nighttime.
Yeah, they did. If they would not have done it, they wouldn't have died.
Specifically, the boys' locker room. But how could the victim, who was apparently a girl, access the boys' locker room? Simple, because she was really a he, which is why he was able to use his own e-handbook to gain entrance to the boys' locker room. Once inside, he met with someone there, and the person he met was the one who killed him.
But why?
It seems likely that the killer grabbed the nearby dumbbell, approached the unsuspecting Chihiro, and attacked him.
Ah, okay,
that's
blood
where
splatter.
the bloodstains on the poster and carpeting in the boys' locker room came from. It was likely in the heat of the moment. The body was arranged.
But what
the
made the
murder
heat
itself
of the
felt
moment if
unknown.
this was planned?
Which is why the killer hurried to try and hide the act. First, pulling up the bloodstained carpet, then removing the bloody poster, and finally carrying the corpse into the girls' locker room.
Okay.
A girl's handbook was necessary to get into the locker room, of course, but this alone doesn't prove that the killer was necessarily a girl. After all, Sayaka and Junko's handbooks had been placed in the main hall. Using one of those, a boy could get into the girls' locker room without much problem. And that's exactly how the killer did it. With the carpet and the poster they brought with them, they got to work. They changed the layout of the boys' and girls' locker room in what you might call a crime scene switch. That could have been the end of things, but no. Byakuya discovered the body and decided to intervene in the situation.
Oh, whoops.
So, after stumbling on the crime scene, he went and grabbed the extension cord from the library, and then he got to work. He used the cord to string up Chihiro's lifeless body. Then, using the victim's own blood, he left a grisly message there at the scene of the crime.
Jeez.
He wanted to create the illusion that Genocide Jack was responsible for the slaughter. And around the same time that Byakuya was putting together this facade, the killer, having already disposed of Chihiro's bag and other belongings, arrived at the sauna. There, they planned to destroy the last piece of evidence, Chihiro's handbook. And
there we go.
Just as the killer expected, the steamy sauna was enough to ruin the electronic gadget. Somehow, the killer knew that the handbook couldn't stand up to the heat of the sauna. And the reason they knew that is because the sauna had already wrecked their own handbook. And that's how it all played out.
Oh no. Dang, not corn, carrot top.
Wait. No. This can't be right.
It can be.
Where's your evidence? Yeah. Where's your evidence?
The whole case has been evidence after evidence, my dude. I understand it's your bro, but
You need evidence. You need proof.
we already have it.
Without any proof, you can't pin any of this on him.
Evidence of Mondo's killer that already revealed itself earlier in the trial. If I can somehow show where Mondo's handbook is right now, once I do that, everything will become clear. A new element has been added to Truth Bullet Time battles. Would you like to hear more? Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Fever Time and Nega Time. Like negative time? During a bullet time battle, if you press the space bar, Fever Time will activate and the tempo will be forced to its max. At this point, even if you push buttons at random, you won't miss. You can also push RMB. Those are trigger buttons because this game came out originally on the Vita, I believe. I don't have those buttons. If you want to destroy opponent's verbal assault. But this will only last until your focus gauge runs out, so make the best possible use of your time. Of course, it wouldn't be fair if only you got to access the special time, right? So we've also prepared something called Nega Time that your opponents can use. If the opponent activates Nega Time during the bullet time battle, your tempo marker will disappear, making it quite a bit tougher to hit the buttons in rhythm. If you were to activate Fever Time at this point, never mind, I'm sure nothing would happen. I don't know what I was worried about. Unsurprisingly, if your action difficulty is set to gentle, the opponent won't use Nega Time. That said, good luck and have fun. Oh, can we cancel each other out? Alright, now, I thought I was going to fail this last time. This might be it this time, y'all.
Show me some evidence. You're wrong. I won't listen. I refute you. False. Show me some evidence. I won't listen. False.
If they use it, we're using it.
Refuse to vote.
Tempo up.
Show me some evidence. You're wrong. I won't listen. I refuse
Oh, okay.
you. False.
Now, there's still
Show
a
me
beat,
some
actually.
evidence. I won't listen. False.
The Broken Knee
Show me some
Handbook.
evidence.
See ya.
This should prove it. If my thinking so far is right, Mondo must have replaced his broken handbook with Leon's.
Yeah.
In which case, we can just check each of our handbooks right now. Once we do that, we'll...
We don't gotta do that.
We don't?
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I did it. I killed him.
Ah, you admit it, huh? And then we go to a close. I didn't actually fail a single section. I came close a couple times. Also, how many mono coins we get for that? Ooh, 93, huh?
Bro,
What's a mistrial? Achievement unlocked.
saying?
I got no choice, man. After hearing all that, I gotta just... give up. Go ahead, Monokuma. Get it over with. Ask for the goddamn verdict.
Oh no.
Wait! Hold on!
No waiting! No holding on! Time for the moment we've all been waiting for! Grab your lever and give it a yank! Who will you elect as the blackened this time around? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be?
The dreadfully wrong one.
What's it gonna be?
B, do you like jazz? Alright, the voting time. Who could it be? Mondo.
What?
Oh, this time it looks like you got it right again. Yes, it is so. The blackened that killed Chihiro Fujisaki was Mondo Iwata. Uh-oh. In case you're wondering, the vote was not unanimous. Kiyotaka chose the wrong answer. You're treading very close to the danger zone, Mr. Ishimaru. If you need to be... Oh, you need to be more careful. I refuse to believe it. There's no way he would kill someone.
Sorry.
Sorry.
What is
Why are you
this?
apologizing? Why? Why? Why did you do it?
Now then.
Well, it looks like Mondo's taking a vow of silence, so allow me to explain on his behalf.
Actually...
The story of the murder this time is a sad story of two men. Oh, but for anyone who doesn't really want to hear it, you can hit the control key to fast forward the text. Anyway, there was once a young boy, and his name was Chihiro Fujisaki. He had an extreme inferiority complex regarding his own lack of strength. You're so weak even though you're a boy. He had heard things like that as long as he could remember, and he couldn't overcome his weakness. On the contrary, he tried to hide and bury himself further and further into that weakness. Buried himself. To take on that fragile form of a petite young girl. He had chosen this as his way out. Now nobody will be able to say anything about even though you're a boy. Dang, but no matter how tightly he wrapped himself in that shell, the inferiority complex had already taken root deep inside him, and it was not so easily weeded out. As it turned out, the shell was completely empty. The complex didn't disappear, instead it only grew stronger and stronger.
Weak.
Once the killing game began here at the school, he had no choice but to accept this fact. After all, the world is survival of the fittest. If you're not strong, you don't survive. And so let's set adaptability. And then the lovely and hateful Monokuma announced the revealing of the embarrassing secrets. Which, of course, included Chihiro's embarrassing secret, which I was more than willing to divulge. Even though he dresses like a girl, Chihiro is actually a boy.
Hey,
And that was something Chihiro couldn't let anyone find out no matter the cost. If that was revealed, it would be the end. The hardened shell would crack, the armor would fall away. Without a doubt, those around him would torture him more than ever before. Everyone figured being thrust into such a dilemma must have sent him spiraling into despair. And yet...
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I don't really want to talk about it right now. But I also don't want to leave things the way they are, so maybe I can talk about it later, after I try my best to become strong. Then I can tell everyone. Annoyingly, he used the threat of discovery to motivate himself to become stronger.
That's right.
Now's my chance.
I want to change.
I'm going to get stronger and accept who I am. Strong enough so that when someone says, even though you're a boy, I'll be okay, I'll get better. That's the right spirit, at least. And with that at the front of his mind, he resolved to take immediate action. And so, that day he made the commitment to begin exercising. He was prepared to retrain his mind and body. But sadly, that'd be the first and only chance he would get at it.
Hey,
When he decided to start exercising, he thought it would be good to ask for someone's help. But he wanted to tell the person his secret first and then ask them to help him from there. And that person he went to...
Yeah, that's right.
It was me. Yep, it sure was. The biker gang fellow had been painfully clear about how important his manly promises were. That is true. So Chihiro probably figured that even if he confided in Mondo, his honor would make him keep the secret. It did. Okay. Plus, Mr. Macho Mondo was the very symbol of a strong man that Chihiro had always aspired to. I don't think it would have been a good idea if Chihiro would have ended up like swollen with like a giant corn on the cob, though. You know, they might have missed a bullet on that one. Maybe talking to Mondo about it would help him, or help give me some courage. So he went and asked Mondo to help him become strong. That was his aspiration. To become Mondo. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. He thought that only with Mondo's support would he ever be able to come close to that.
Correct.
Then that must be why Mondo did what he did, to keep the promise he made to Chihiro. What did he do? You mean that's why Mondo carried Chihiro from the boys' locker room to the girls' locker room?
Indeed.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Wasn't it to cover up what he'd done?
Certainly.
That could have been part of it, but I don't think that was the main reason. The real purpose was to keep the promise between men he'd made to Chihiro. But how does moving the body keep a secret?
Because
if everyone knew he'd been killed in the boys' locker room, then everyone would have been arguing about how she got into the boys' locker room, right? Once it started up, at least a few of us would have immediately begun to suspect his identity, so he tried his best to protect Chihiro's secret by putting him in the girls' locker room and stealing his handbook, see? Then Mondo did all that to keep the promise he'd made to Chihiro, who he'd also killed? Yeah, sounds like it. Why would he do that? The more I hear you talk, the more I don't understand. I mean, you guys trusted each other, right? So why? Why did you... Because no matter what, I didn't want anyone to know.
I knew it.
So that's what triggered it after all. The possibility of having your embarrassing memories and secrets exposed.
What is this?
That's impossible. Nothing could have been that bad. Something he didn't want anyone to know, even if it meant killing someone?
You're wrong.
It's impossible.
Don't make me repeat
How many times must I repeat myself? To judge others by your own standard is the height of folly. Even if you can't comprehend it, he obviously can. That's all there is to it. Well, while we're on the subject, why don't I tell you that embarrassing memory and secret that he didn't want anyone to know?
Hey,
And you know what Mondo did? He killed his own brother. Well, no, that's out in the open now. Mondo, the ultimate biker gang leader, makes all the hoodlums and riffraff across the country tremble. But the only reason he had the chance to join the gang in the first place was because of a certain someone. A certain someone, Itachi? No, Mondo's older brother. His brother's name was Itachi. No, it's just Daya. Iwata. Mondo had nothing but respect for him. It was because of Daya that Mondo had ever gotten in... Can't read. We've been reading for like 3 hours. It was because of Daya that Mondo ever got on a motorcycle. Oh, okay. Mondo's brother was his only family growing up. He was the only one Mondo could trust or respect. He wanted to measure up to his big brother, so he imitated him in everything that he did. Mondo was the epitome of the starry-eyed kid brother. Meanwhile, the charismatic older brother had put together a local motorcycle gang, and before anyone knew it, it had grown into the biggest biker gang in the country. Daya, the older brother, #1 in the gang, and his #2, his younger brother, Mondo. In the beginning, everything was peaches and gravy, but then Mondo started to think about how he would have to take over the gang from his brother someday. His brother's greatness and reputation began to gnaw on Mondo's very soul. The kid's gonna take over for Daya, huh? Daya created the gang with his bare hands. Mondo's just along for the ride. Can someone like that really be our leader? All thou do is make the gang look bad. Almost every day, Mondo heard the gossip and whispers of the other members of the gang, which is why...
I
gotta get stronger than Daya. Once, just one time, no matter what, I gotta win.
Don't fuck with me.
I don't care what it takes, I gotta come out on top. And on the night of his amazing brother's retirement ceremony, Mondo challenged him to a street race. But during the race, tragedy struck. The kid brother pushed ahead with reckless abandon, eager for victory, dashed into oncoming traffic. But suddenly... Oh, it's a truck. It's gonna isekai him into another game. Oh no, never mind. Laying in his kid brother's arms, the other brother delivered his final words. My bad, kid. I messed up. Sorry. Of course, he knew it was his brother's fault, but Dai never blamed him for what happened. Hey, kid. The rest is up to you. No matter what, you gotta keep the gang together. Because it's the team, you and me put together. It's a promise between men. No, okay, so his older brother got isekai'd into another game. He decided to hide the truth of what happened from everyone else in the gang. In order to keep the gang together and keep the promise to his brother, he could never admit to anyone that it was his own weakness that had caused the accident. And as a result, the team was made even stronger under the banner of the kid who had bested his big brother. Dai was going to lose to his kid brother, so he got stupid and got himself killed. That became the explanation for what happened. Mando's lie became the truth. He wanted to lead the team so bad, he was willing to tell all kinds of lies about his brother. I'm strong. Strong, 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 strong. And yet, as soon as our killing game began, he realized, no matter how tough he pretended to be, he was just another weakling that could die in an instant. And then the lovely and hateful Monokuma announced the reveal of the embarrassing secrets. And at that point it was clear I would have no problem shedding light on his secret. Monokuma killed his older brother. Monokuma's older brother. Stereo Kuma. Mondo killed his older brother. No matter what, I couldn't let the other gang members find out. If that happened, everything would have been ruined. Everything me and my brother had worked so hard to create would have been destroyed. His death, all the guilt I'd been carrying around, it would all been for nothing. So that's why. Mondo. After I saw what Monokuma had on me, my head filled up with a kind of fuzzy uneasiness and just started swirling around. I'd never felt anything like it before. I didn't know what to do about it. I wasn't sure what to think or to say, but after a while, the fuzzy uneasiness turned itself into a rock-hard lump of anxiety way down in my stomach. And it was right around then that Chihiro asked me to start working out with him. And right there, he told me his secret. Seriously? Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry I lied to you. But why? Why now? Why are you telling me this all of a sudden? Huh? Because, I mean, you've kept that secret all this time, right? If anyone found out, you would...
But...
You're right, but...
I want to change.
I wrapped myself in lies. I'm weak and I want to destroy that version of me forever. His words were like a knife in my gut. I felt like he was exposing the lie I'd been living myself. Oh, okay. I have to change. I don't want to be weak anymore. You're so strong, it can't hurt you, right? You would think, whatever secret Monokuma might tell us...
You piece of...
So what, you're saying I should just say it?
What? What?
You're saying if I really am, I should just be able to tell everyone my secret.
Huh?
Uh-oh. I was jealous. Uh-oh. I was jealous of Chihiro's strength. He had the strength to face his own weakness to try and overcome it. It was the kind of strength I'd never had. I was so jealous of him. And that jealousy broke me. Uh-oh. You're making fun of me? I don't think they're making fun of you. I'm strong. You're messing with me right now.
No.
No, they're not making they're not making fun of you. They really believe that you were strong, Mondo. I feel like I could hear something starting to creak. Something inside my head. What did you want me to do? What was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to just sit back, let my secret get revealed and ruin everything?
What's wrong?
Why did you have to tell me that? Are you trying to rub my failure in my face? Uh-oh.
I just wanted to...
No, I just really admire you. I admire your strength.
Yeah, that's
right. I am strong. Strong. I'm strong. Strong, 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 strong. Stronger than you.
You son of a bitch!
And oh no, it's stronger than Daya. And that's when it happened? I don't remember anything after that. Oh, everything just went black, huh? When I woke up, he was lying at my feet covered in blood. I had the dumbbell in my hand, and I was just staring down at him lying on the ground. So it was like in a rage, in a seeing red moment. You don't even remember doing it. That's gotta suck then.
I killed him.
Dang.
I killed Chihiro. Even after all this time, I'm still just as weak as I've always been.
That sucks.
And thanks to that, I did something I can never take back.
You really can't, Mondo. He was normally so aggressive, so angry. He hid that weak side from everyone. That was his secret. A weakness like that lived in a heart like his, and it turned him cold-blooded. God dang it. Look at him, you see? You're all just like him. For a secret from the past, for a memory. For that, he killed another living human in cold blood. He couldn't cut free of his regrets in the outside world. He doesn't know what true strength is. Do you see hope anywhere in there? Because I sure don't. You. Just shut up, you son of a gun. Go ahead. Say that again, I dare you. Oh, go ahead, fight him. Fight him. Fight.
Yep.
Okay, I'll say it as many times as I want, is what I want to say, but... Unfortunately, I can't do that right now, because the time for punishing is fast approaching. Punishing? I mean, why is that surprising? We've been through this, yeah, an execution.
Well now.
That's what I promised you, right? The blackened that disturbs the peace will be punished.
Ridiculous.
Hold on.
Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment.
For Mondo Iwata, the ultimate biker gang leader. No, wait.
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
No, Taka.
Sorry, man. I couldn't keep the promise we made. From one man to another.
Ooh, Nis. Oh, Nis. Oh no. Why does Monokuma have corn now? Uh-oh. The Cage of Death. Yeah, that seems pretty bad. How can Monokuma even drive a motorcycle? He's like 2 feet tall. He can't even see over the... Oh, well. Dang. Vaporized? Oh, Mondo butter. I can't believe it's not Mondo. I actually want some pancakes, though. Unrelated. Laugh at death and your soul will forever be at peace. Oh, I don't think that's how that works. Can't be. My brother. Another murder. And another execution. I want to feel again. Everyone's lives are taken so lightly here. I feel like I might be going mad. Maybe I'll just let it happen. As Taka's sad screams invaded our skulls, we were each forced to realize once again. But he, of course he had to. What a disappointment. Is this the end of another game? Byakuya?
What is this?
You're completely insane, you know that? A game? One of our friends is dead, do you realize that?
Naturally.
Of course I do, because this game is life or death.
Hey.
I don't have anything to say to you. None of a response, except that...
However...
I just don't understand why. Why'd you go out of your way to disguise Mondo's crime?
What?
Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I made things more interesting. His voice was calm, emotionless, like the voice of death. It chilled me to the bone. Last night when the murder took place, I was in the library as usual.
Honestly.
So you ignored the nighttime rule too. Like, no one listens to you, apparently, it's Celeste. That rule never mattered to me. I don't recall agreeing to it.
There is nothing
Well,
to be done.
I don't particularly care. Please continue. The night grew late and I decided to return to my room, which is when I stumbled upon him. I spotted Mondo coming out of the girls' locker room. After he had gone, I looked inside and saw the corpse.
What?
You mean you actually witnessed the murder? He was such a fool, he didn't have the slightest idea I'd seen him. So you're saying you knew who the culprit was from the very beginning?
That's right.
Indeed, but if that had been the end of it, how boring would that have been? I mean, what a waste of time to have the answer revealed right at the beginning. So I decided to lend a little helping hand. I thought it would liven things up. You did all that to liven things up?
I see.
So after hearing about Genocide Jack from Toko, you decided to use that to create a fake murder scene.
But
dang, man, if we hadn't figured out who'd really done it, you would have been dead too, right? Well, obviously, I would have revealed the truth before it reached that point. Of course, Byakuya had turned and looked me in the eye. I could feel his sharp eyes piercing into me. Thanks to a certain remarkable someone, it never did, and I was able to perform an interesting experiment. Once I do decide to become the Blackened, I now know who I have to watch out for. Uh-oh. That's why, that's the reason, that's the why he did it, so he knows who his threats are. Okay.
Correct.
So that was your reason. Are you satisfied?
Indeed.
Yes. We're done listening to your story. Moving on. Yeah, get him.
Hey.
Something I'd like to ask Monokuma.
What's this?
Oh, I'm up next?
You
like to perform these elaborate executions each time, correct? My question is why? I can't do it. There it is. Do you like them? But you know, this punishment, this despair, it's not just for you. All this punishment, all this despair is my gift to mankind itself.
what?
You're over-exaggerating. I am not over-exaggerating. These punishments are meant to transform all hope into despair.
Damn.
What do you mean? 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 Mean.
What the
Mean. Good grief, I don't understand why you have to pick apart every little stupid thing. Whatever, it doesn't matter. In the end, I'm going to stand alone as the victor, and then everything will be revealed to me. Ah, the noble son of a noble family. Truly, you understand me. I think it is all start of a terrifying friendship. Oh no. Shut up, I would never stoop to the level of a childish criminal like you. Let me just say this. After I've achieved complete victory, you're up next. I'm going to find you and kill you, understand?
In
the name of the Takami family, for which victory is a foregone conclusion.
You're getting all riled
Oh,
up.
so cool. It's like you're the main character of a video game or something. No trash mob for you. I swear, whatever it takes, I will kill you. Temper. Sounds like someone needs a nap. Oh, man. I miss fans' laugh already. Monokuma's laughter peeled across the courtroom and the curtain closed in the case of Chihiro and Mondo. But I knew that wasn't the end. The killing game would still continue because the mastermind wouldn't let it end. For those of us who were still alive, our worst fear and despair kept on multiplying. It was the kind of despair that felt like a blind puppy... Wait, what? It was the kind of despair that felt like a blind puppy in hell that had more of a future than us. Wow, really? So is it Cerberus? All of our courage, our effort, our friendship, it felt like it amounted to nothing at all. It was the worst kind of despair. Dang. Oh, what is this?
Well, anyway, like I was saying, this is a pretty good spot. Yeah, a really good spot. Anyway, isn't it amazing how that girl went and killed someone before things even had a chance to get boring? Once things really get moving, it'll be like a roller coaster. There won't be any stopping it. Fear and despair charge forward at a speed nothing can hope to match. But I must admit, I'm disappointed. I went to all the pain and effort of making you part of the group, and you couldn't play your part. You do remember you were supposed to make the first move, right?
Mole?
Well, no biggie. Nothing we can do about it now. So just do your best to make things more exciting from now on, okay? After all, that's what everyone wants to see.
There's one thing I'd like to ask you.
As long as you don't want to know my measurements, fire away.
Who is it? The 16th high school student, I mean? Wait, what?
My. You really took me by surprise there. I know I said you could ask anything, but... super denied, ultra denied, demonic denied. Because you see, that's my ace in the hole. And nobody'd be dumb enough to reveal that, right? No matter how close they were to their friends.
Ah, so not only is there a mole, but there's actually another student. Boys Life in Despair, Chapter 2. The End. Dang. To be continued. You receive the crazy diamond present. Oh, Mondo's jacket. So Chihiro basically was bullied for being like too weak, considering that they were a boy. Kind of like elementary school, some high school foolishness like that, right? Like that's a thing that actually happens. But at this point, they decided when their secrets are going to be revealed, they're like, they wanted to be strong enough that when people kind of threw insults at them for that, it didn't matter, right? Like they were who they were, and it didn't matter how weak or whatever they were. The thing I thought that was kind of neat about that, it kind of reminded me of something actually that my mom would tell me all the time. Tell all of us all the time. It was a simple line of, you're not what you're called, but you're what you're answer to. Meaning people can call you whatever they want, but it doesn't matter. All the thing that matters is that what you answer to. So if people call you weak, or they call you stupid or dumb, whatever, they can call you that and all you want, all they want. It doesn't actually matter though unless you answer to it, right? Like that's just how that works for a lot of things when it comes to insults and all kinds, especially with the internet being a thing and people having anonymous stuff and they say all kinds of stuff. It doesn't matter that they said it unless you answer to it, right? Like it's whatever. So that was definitely an interesting kind of a thing there to see someone decide to be like, yeah, but I kind of want to not basically care anymore. I want to be strong enough that, like, a thicker skin basically. But dang, the Mondo's kind of just seeing red moment there, that also kind of sucked. Because initially, basically, if that didn't eat away at them, that wouldn't have happened, right? It didn't happen because they're like, oh, it's because you lied to us. Bam. It was just because they were angry about their own self, and it kind of just set them off, I guess. That's unfortunate. And now we're suddenly down a whole third of the people we started with are now dead. So, and we're only at the end of chapter 2. Dang. All right. Well, yeah, we're going to save it there. But like I said, we're going to end the video there. I don't know where this is going to go from here next. But before we can get that chance, we're going to call it good. Outro time. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell notification. The actual subscribe button. But I don't know which video will be next. We're just going to have to wait and see. So until next time, take care. And enjoy pizza responsibly. Thank you for watching.